Shazam, one of the most powerful beings known to man in the DC universe, and one that possesses powers of godlike proportions, literally maintaining the powers of the gods themselves. Well, it's in the name, Shazam. S for the wisdom of Solomon, H for the strength of Hercules, A for the stamina of Atlas, Z for the power of Zeus, A for the courage of Achilles, and M for the speed of Mercury. Yes, Shazam is one of the coolest and most awesome, and frankly has one of the best catchphrases in all time, being that of Shazam itself. All I'm gonna say, and all I gotta say, is that the fact is, when he screams Shazam and the lightning bolt comes striking down on top of him, transforming him into a all-powerful being, it is absolutely amazing. But that isn't what this video is about. This video is about not only the origins of Shazam, but why it's stupid, but also awesome at the same time. With that said, let me explain. The origins of Shazam have changed a little bit from time to time, especially with the new relaunch of everything in the DC comic universe, right? Now, obviously, I'm a comic casual, and I've just got into stuff like this, but I was able to look at both of the, histories of Shazam, or the origins of Shazam, and frankly, they have two pretty good aspects that I want to talk about, and also talk about why they're stupid, but awesome at the same time. Now, starting with the very first origin of Shazam, or what was known as Captain Marvel, but we all know that got swapped up because of a whole legal deal. Now, Shazam was just a kid, a normal kid, and he actually had his parents killed, or his parents were killed, by his future arch enemy, being that of the Black Adam, and he went on to live with his uncle, who would take his entire inheritance, throw him out on the streets, and he would try to scratch and claw his way to do good things. There's a lot of times that we see Billy Batson actually talk about this idea of doing good things, that he's always doing good, but he's always getting hurt because of it. And that's such a beautiful thing, because it shows why he's quote-unquote worthy of the power of the old wizard known as Shazam. Now, this is where we lead into the idea of Shazam becoming who he ends up becoming, or Billy Batson becoming Shazam. Now, we are talking about a little kid, and a kid that has gone through a ton. And you might be wondering, well, why is it stupid and also awesome at the same time? Well, let's start with the fact that I believe that it is stupid, at least the origins, and let me get to why. Now, the old wizard is hunting for somebody who is worthy of his power. And I'm not saying Billy Batson isn't worthy of his power, but we are talking about a little kid. And with that said, a little kid that doesn't really know better. And I know the wisdom of Solomon, right? You get all of this kind of power from the different gods, but I think Wonder Woman said it best, that wisdom does not equal maturity for a large standpoint. Now, Shazam, or Billy Batson, who would eventually become Shazam, was just a normal kid. Yes, a kid that went through hell, and a kid that what the wizard deemed as someone who was determined and also basically worthy enough to bear the powers of Shazam. And he basically went through hell itself, or went through a ton of horrible things, and eventually was deemed worthy of holding that power. Now, there's a lot of reasons why it's stupid or very dumb, and that's the reason why he got this so-called amazing and insane power, and it's totally not because I'm jealous and wish I could do the same things he could do. Now, for starters, like I said before, he's a kid. He's a stupid kid. I mean, at the end of the day, a lot of kids are dumb, and that includes me. When I was a kid, I wasn't the smartest person in the world either. Even if I was good at school and stuff like that, it didn't matter. Being a kid, you were just so unknown to the world. You didn't understand fully what things were going on, and shoot, I don't understand fully what's going on now. So the idea of giving someone like Billy Batson, a very, very young boy, being chosen to be the champion of a wizard known as Shazam feels extremely irresponsible. Very similar to my whole chat about Batman introducing basically his sidekicks into crime fighting. people like Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, Tim Drake, stuff like that, it is to a small extent, and maybe even a large extent, extremely irresponsible to allow a child to be introduced into the ways of crime fighting, and especially making a child your champion. That's a scary, scary thing. But now, you might be wondering, why did I also call it awesome? Why is the idea of Shazam basically being a kid and still getting the powers an awesome idea? Well, for starters, I want to say this. It does give a beautiful, beautiful connection to the idea of a child and an adult. And what I mean by this is a lot of children and a lot of teens and a lot of people, and I was maybe part of this as well when I was younger, too. I really wanted to grow up. I wanted to see the world. I wanted to feel what it was like to be an adult and this and that. And I'm a spoiler alert for those who are teens and maybe in high school or whatever, and you're listening to my content. It's not so cool on the other side. I'm going to be honest. But we make the most of it at the end of the day. But it's not so cool on the other side of adulthood. So the contrast between being a child and an adult and his kind of development is super interesting. The idea that Billy Batson is a kid, he's a child, and at the end of the day, that's what he is, but he evolves into being a man, being a godlike being that now has to take on stuff that no mortal men or no man in himself would be able to handle, and he does need the help from the gods, being that all of the gods that I've referenced earlier that make up his name, being that of, Solomon, Hercules, Atlas, Zeus, and so on. All of these are gods that are very, very important to his development, but it's a perfect kind of compare and contrast of growing up way too fast. And well, that kind of rhymed. Okay, sorry. Yeah, it's a pretty good comparison to the idea of growing up way too fast. And at the end of the day, that's what Billy Batson had to do. He might have been a kid, and he might have been a kid with extremely powerful powers and godlike powers at that, but he couldn't be necessarily a kid anymore once he gained these powers. He had to truly evolve into something different, and he had to speed up the process of being an adult. And a lot of kids out there, I'm gonna be honest, had to deal with something very similar. And I don't want to get too deep and get too heartfelt, but for those teens and kids out there who had to mature a lot quicker than anybody else, who had to basically help out around the house a lot more than everyone else did, maybe had to take care of a parent when a parent should have been taking care of you. That's kind of the metaphor here with Billy Batson and turning into Shazam. He has become the protector. He is no longer the protectee. He is no longer the person that needs to be protected. He is the person that needs to protect. He is the person that needs to stand in front of those who are less fortunate, those who need help, and those who flat out need someone to lean on. That's what Billy Batson now has to be, being that he is now the champion of Shazam. And it's a perfect and beautiful comparison, and it's a beautiful thing that he doesn't just permanently stay in the form of Shazam. He has to transform into it via the word Shazam. So he can still go back to be that child, to be that kid, but he knows once that word is said, once the word of Shazam is spoken out of his mouth, he is now the person that is the protector. He now grows up and has to be mature, has to be, that person that can stand in front of a victim. He is now that older brother that now has to take on that parent role. That is what Shazam is, and I thought it was a beautiful idea to have that compare and contrast. Yes, I said it was stupid in terms of, giving a kid powers is kind of wild, and the idea of that is kind of wild, but I do think it's awesome as well when you can connect with your audience to this large degree. Now, there is another reason, and a big reason why I made this video as well, was, also contrasting the idea of it being stupid and awesome. But another reason why it's absolutely awesome is there's a lot of people out there, a lot of kids, a lot of teens, a lot of teens that are now adults, that went through a lot, that went through a ton. And I know I said that briefly a second ago, where you have to age up and you have to be more mature quicker than you probably should have been mature. But at the end of the day, we are dealing with a person or a kid that went through a ton, that had his parents murdered, that was in the foster care system. In one origin, his uncle stole everything from him. That's someone that is supposed to be your family, someone that is supposed to be there helping you. And I can imagine being a kid who maybe is going through a hard time, and you read this comic book and you see this kid going through a horrible time. His parents gone, his family gone, foster care system, his uncle screws him over, and then he gets one blessing. He gets one thing. It's as if the universe itself was looking out for him, and finally things lined up, and he became what he never thought would have been possible for himself. He never thought would be just a situation or a future that he could uphold through his life, and that is becoming a superhero. Now, I'm not going to say that it's the best idea to think like, oh, I'm going to go through a bunch of horrible things and become a superhero. No, of course not. Superheroes may not be real in real life, at least to the degree that they are in the DC universe, but a superhero has a different definition in the real world. You could go through horrible things in your life, deal with horrible things in your life, and flow through the entirety of your childhood, your teen years, and even early adult years, dealing with absolute carnage and dealing with absolutely horrible things that no person that age should ever deal with, but then you still find a way to get it done. You still find a way to find the best version of yourself. You still find a way to get out of college, to get the job you want, or to find success in the job or the route that you truly cared about and wanted to do. All the people that were telling you, no, you can't do it, or all the people that couldn't support you because they were gone, or just wouldn't support you because they didn't believe that you could really do it. I truly believe that Billy Batson is the definition of that specifically. And I would have loved to read this when I was a kid. Don't get me wrong, I wasn't going through a horrible life. I had a great childhood, in my opinion, and I have no qualms there. But I would have loved to read it when I was younger, just thinking about this kid. I mean, at the end of the day, it does shine a totally different light on your own world, right? I mean, for me, I had a good childhood. So maybe I would have looked at it like, wow, this is every kind of, me getting a little bit pissy about this or getting mad about this. It would mean like absolutely nothing, because I look at him and I'm like, wow, this kid went through way worse than I ever have in my life. So where am I to complain? But then for those who have gone through stuff as bad, if not similar to Shazam or Billy Batson, you can relate to him. You can relate to someone like him and maybe look at it optimistically. See it as a way of you have to bear through it, push forward, and still hold the smile on your face. Because like I said, there are scenes of Billy Batson saying that, or feeling that basically being good doesn't feel so good all the time. Being good and being a good person isn't always the best thing in the world. And there's a phrase or a saying that I hear and I personally say quite a bit, and that's no good deed goes unpunished. And I know it seems so backwards. It seems so odd. It feels as if I'm speaking in oxymorons. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of times in your life and a lot of times in life itself that can compare very similar to Billy Batson that make that very true. Billy Batson does very good deeds even before he becomes Shazam. Even before he becomes a godlike being, he does good deeds and he gets punished for it. Just because you are doing good does not mean that others will do good to you as well. That's a reality that we all live in, and a reality some will unfortunately have to learn. And I hope a lot of people that are listening, if you're older than me, younger than me, whatever, you understand that you have to keep pushing along. And I truly believe that's what Shazam, that's what Billy Batson, and that's what the Origins of Shazam itself shows well, us in our own lives. Because at the end of the day, when you're going through all this terrible stuff, you're going through all this horrible stuff, or maybe even minorly horrible stuff, or maybe just minor inconveniences. In your head, you think, it's stupid, it's horrible, I hate this, this sucks, I don't want to deal with this, right? But all of us, we may all feel that way. But guess what? Just like Shazam, just like Billy Batson, you might be able to get to that awesome version of yourself just like Shazam. And that's why maybe our origins may be stupid in the very beginning, but at the very end of it, become extremely awesome, just like the origins of Shazam or the origins of Billy Batson, and how that stupid origin truly was amazing and awesome. But as always, I am a comic casual, and I would love to hear what you guys have to think about Billy Batson or Shazam's origins, and tell me what you think about the video. I would love to hear what your guys' feedback. I really do love connecting these characters to real life. I think it puts a new spin on the video and puts a totally new enjoyment on it. I feel like I can kind of talk about some things that are on my own mind, maybe things that I went through when I was younger and stuff like that, and connect it to, well, you know, the world of DC and these superhuman-like beings. And I feel like it adds an extra connection to me and you as the audience. I know you guys are enjoying the videos for the most part, or most of you are, so I really do appreciate it. I appreciate all the love and support. We've been growing like crazy. As some of you know, I've done other YouTube channels. I've never had a YouTube channel grow as fast as this one, and it's all around, well, the idea of me just enjoying the content, me enjoying my introduction back into, well, comic books and the DC universe. And I love the fact that we can connect and talk about different things, and I can be informed by y'all, and you guys can tell me, hey, in this comic this happened, and in this happened, and in this happened. I really love stuff like that. But like I said, if y'all enjoyed the video, please tell me in the comment section below what you enjoyed about it, and if you can relate to it. And as always, show some love, leave a like, leave a sub, and all that good stuff. And with that said, if you enjoyed this video, you will most likely, and YouTube believes, that you'll enjoy this one, so you might as well go check it out. Why not, right?